You know, in spite of all the uncertainty and in spite of all the complaining that players have been giving to Pokemon Go as of late, I personally have been really enjoying this game, and I really feel like the future for Pokemon Go is actually really bright. And I'm going to be giving the reasons why I feel that way in this video. Let's get right into it. Alright, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So for this video, I just kind of wanted to sit and chat regarding Pokemon Go. I just kind of wanted to just dump my thoughts and feelings around this game, and hopefully we can have a great discussion, because I think right now when it comes to the Pokemon Go community at large, a lot of people are really feeling uneasy about the future of Pokemon Go. Of course, recently we had the big purchase. Scopely Inc. is now taking over Niantic Games, and that means Pokemon Go is now in the hands of a completely different development studio. And there's a lot of question marks with that. We really do not know what Pokemon Go is going to look like within a year. Like, Scopely Inc. can come in and completely change the game. They could add a whole bunch of monetization. They could monetize a lot of the stuff that we've been enjoying for free right now. That's something that they've certainly done with previous games. And that's definitely a possibility with Pokemon Go, and I think a lot of players are really worried about that. But recently we got a lot of reassurances from people like Michael Staranka and other people who work at Niantic that things are supposed to remain the same, that Scopely Inc. has no intentions of making major changes. And personally, I do not believe that, because this is not a partnership. This is not Scopely Inc. coming in to support Niantic Games. This is them taking over Niantic Games. This is a full-on acquisition. So naturally, there has to be changes that are coming. Scopely Inc. have probably been developing their games completely differently from how Niantic Games has been developing Pokemon Go. So I do predict that there's going to be some changes, and that's something we can expect. We do not know if there are going to be positive changes. We do not know if there are going to be full-on negative changes. But I do suspect that Pokemon Go is going to be a different game next year, and maybe we could look forward to that. I really do not know. At the very least, the one thing that I am looking forward to is Pokemon Go finally getting separated from Niantic's big agenda on creating geospatial technology and AR mechanics. Like, this has been such a big focus with Niantic Labs for the past several years. Maybe you do not know this, but Pokemon Go has always been an engine for them to come up with innovative new technologies with AR. They never really cared about gameplay. Like, Pokemon Go was never meant to be a game that was supposed to be like a game in its own right. It was meant to be just a means to an end for Niantic. And Pokemon Go is finally going to be separated from that. I think that's the one major positive with this change of hands that we really have to discuss. Now that Scopely Inc. is coming in to take over Niantic Games, we do not have to worry about everything Niantic doing just being for their geospatial technology. That's been the main focus for the past several years. Everything that they've done for Pokemon Go has been geared towards creating better AR technology. And we don't have to worry about that anymore. Now they could focus on PvP, they could focus on raid battles, gym battles, all the different aspects of Pokemon Go, and we do not have to worry about them creating all this kind of gameplay that's specifically geared towards improving AR technology. Because let's be real here, that's been the central focus around Pokemon Go's design for the past, I don't know how long, but every new feature that they introduce, every new aspect of the game that they change, it's always been about AR technology, and we can finally get rid of that. I'm definitely looking forward to how Pokemon Go is going to look in the future, because it's going to be more about the gameplay, and I do think that Scopely Inc. is going to make some positive changes. We do not know what they're going to do. We do not know how the game is actually going to look, like I said, but I do predict that there's going to be some positive changes, at least in the gameplay front. Now, when it comes to Pokemon Go, what are some of the things that I am looking forward to that we know is coming to Pokemon Go? Like, first and foremost, let's talk about Pokemon Go Fest. I think them announcing that both Crown Form Zacian and Crown Form Zamazenta coming to the game is super exciting. I mean, both of these Pokemon are going to be pretty powerful. I do think they're going to be meta relevant when it comes to raid battles and PvP. But one thing I am looking forward to is the possibility of them having adventure effects. Adventure effects is probably the one thing that I felt like was the best addition to Pokemon Go. Regardless if it's Origin Form Palkia and Dialga, or Black and White Kyurem, or Necrozma, like, the adventure effects have been amazing. Like, personally speaking, I feel like every single one of the adventure effects in this game are just incredibly useful. Like more recently with the Spotlight Hour for Shelter, that was obviously one of the biggest Stardust grinds that we've ever had. I was using Origin Form Palkia's adventure effect during that, and I was able to catch a lot more Shelter because a big chunk of it, I was actually locked in place. I was not actually able to go around and move around. So having a lot of those additional spawn points, that allowed me to collect a lot more Stardust. And even when I was moving around, I was able to get even more spawn points and even more Shelter that I could catch, and that was a lot more Stardust. I think I came out with about 2.5 million Stardust out of that one Spotlight Hour. It was actually pretty insane. And yeah, a lot of that was possible because of this adventure effect, which I feel like a lot of players completely neglect. It's actually a really useful one. And then when it came to, I think it was White Kyurem, I was using that adventure effect during Pokemon GO Tour when I was doing a whole bunch of Kyurem raids. It allowed me to catch those Kyurems a lot faster, a lot more efficiently, and in turn, that allowed me to do a lot more raids. Every single one of these adventure effects have been so useful. I think recently I was able to catch a Galarian Shiny Zapdos, and that was because I had a daily adventure incense running, and I also extended the duration of that item with Origin Form Dialga, which I do every single day. It's just incredible the way that these adventure effects have drastically shifted the gameplay in a positive direction. And for them to introduce even more adventure effects, it just opens up a lot more possibilities. So yeah, I am looking forward to these two specific Pokemon because I believe they're going to come with adventure effects. And if they do, I think that's going to be a huge net positive. But even so, introducing new legendaries is always really exciting, and hopefully I'll be able to pick up a 100% IV this year. That would be really cool. Another thing that we're looking forward to is something that I recently talked about, and it's something that hasn't been confirmed just yet, but we know it is coming to the game because of data mined info, and that is of course bottle caps. I think it's massive that bottle caps are going to finally be in Pokemon Go. I know a lot of players have been pushing back against it, mainly because they have a huge collection of 100% IVs and they don't want those Pokemon to lose their value. But let's be real here, bottle caps would drastically improve Pokemon Go. In my opinion, I feel like for Niantic to introduce this item into the game, it's a long time coming. I think a lot of players are sick and tired of the luck-based gameplay, and for a lot of those players, they just want a lot more player control regarding their collection. If they want a particular Pokemon to be 100% IVs, rather than constantly catching that one Pokemon or raiding that one Pokemon, now they have a way to get exactly what they want without having to rely on just strictly luck. And that's really good game design. That's giving players a lot more agency. That gives players a lot more reasons to grind it out. I think this is something that would produce a lot more longevity for Pokemon Go as opposed to just strictly luck-based mechanics. I think Niantic has been relying on that for such a long time, and the negative aspects of that sort of gameplay is now definitely being felt because a lot of players that I talk to, they just simply do not care about raiding as much as they used to, because the grind for 100% IVs and the grind for Shundos and high IVs, it gets very cumbersome over time, and it just wipes out a lot of players' excitement for the game. So introducing bottle caps, in my opinion, is going to be one of the best things to happen to Pokemon Go. I can almost guarantee that there's going to be a lot of players who are going to be really happy about it. And if Niantic and Scopely were to monetize it egregiously, I think that would be a huge misstep, and I really want to warn against that. If they were to monetize it, it would totally be understandable. I mean, if they were to just include it in the next tour pass or whatever pass that they do, that's something I do foresee. Or maybe they'll have it as a rare raid drop. I do predict that is a possibility as well. Regardless of whatever they do, if they have it so that it's an item where you could just directly purchase it, I think that is not going to be great design. It's going to remove a lot of that agency, or I should say it's going to give too much agency in a way. So I hope that's not the direction that they go, but we really do not know until we actually get confirmation. I really do think it's going to be a pass item. I think that's the most logical thing for them to do. It's going to make sure that the item is rare. It's going to prevent it from being overabundant within the gameplay. And then also, it's going to be a way for them to monetize it. I just think it just makes total sense. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the future of Pokemon Go. I feel like my excitement for the game has been a lot higher as of late compared to previous years. I think a lot of that has to come has come down to just a lot of the luck that I've recently had. Obviously, I've been pretty lucky when it comes to shundos, especially around community days, and then with the previous Go Tour event, I was able to pick up a good number of shiny Kyurem, which upon trading them, I was able to get myself a 96%, which I was able to actually, power up and invest into. So yeah, I've been feeling very motivated. I've been actually enjoying some of the in-game events as well. There's just a lot of good things happening with Pokemon Go, and I think a lot of that gets overlooked because players tend to focus on the negative aspects of the game, and there's obviously been a lot of unrest with Pokemon Go now changing hands over to a different company. So yeah, because of that, I just kind of wanted to take a step back and just talk about some of the positives. I feel like I don't do that enough on my YouTube channel, and I totally recognize that, but yeah, I will be honest with you. I'm feeling pretty good about Pokemon Go, and I personally do think the future is pretty bright for the game. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. If you completely disagree with me with everything that I talked about, and I know there's going to be some of you who are feeling very down and very skeptical about the future of Pokemon Go, definitely share your thoughts in the comments down below, because your opinion is what matters. I really want to know what you are thinking, because maybe I'm completely off base here. Maybe I'm completely just, off the cuff here. Maybe I'm just completely wrong with my sentiments, and maybe you have better reasons to feel negative about the game, and I want to hear what that is. Yeah, definitely share it in the comments, and let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. If you ended up enjoying it, then make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget that notification bell when you do, so that you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, if you want to support what I do here on YouTube, then the best way you could do that is by joining my Patreon. And if you become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. And that means for stuff like remote raids in the friendship system, like opening and sending gifts. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then do consider joining my Patreon. I'll put a link to that in the description below. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you're always welcome to do that by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms that you see on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow, and you'll be able to keep up with my daily life. And that'll be a huge help to my YouTube channel. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you all later.